Right, first of all, it's a scorcher. It's Scotland and it's a scorcher, you don't hear that very often. But if you're watching this video, either you already know us, you've watched something else, or you've stumbled across two, I would say slightly mad, elderly Scots people who have decided that owning a house, paying bills, fixing things that constantly break, and staring at the same four walls in the same grey weather is officially overrated. Listen, we're Nina and Kenny, and we're moving into a van. Well, technically we're moving into a motorhome, but I think a van sounds way more dramatic. And let's face it, drama's good for YouTube. This is a story of why we are doing that. 10 reasons, and some of them are deeply sensible, and some of them are slightly unhinged. But all of them are completely true. So let's go. Number one, we actually want to slow down. By what? By speeding off. Here's the irony of modern life. You spend years and years and years building a business, filling a house, accumulating, well, stuff. And the whole time you're thinking, do you know what? One day we'll slow down and we'll actually enjoy this. And then one day you look around and you realise it's the actual stuff that's the problem. Now, Nina and I have been going flat out for, well, I'm not even going to mention how many years because it'll make me sound absolutely ancient, but a very, very long time. Photography studios, mentoring other photographers, running businesses, fixing businesses, other people's businesses, and our own business. And somewhere along the way, the life that we were building started to feel like it was running us rather than the other way around. A motorhome forces you to slow down. You can only drive so far in a day. You park up, you make a coffee, and you look at something beautiful. You go for a walk, you eat something local. That's the plan, and honestly, I cannot wait. Number two, the bills. Oh, the bills. Can we talk about home ownership for a moment? Because nobody tells you the truth before you actually get into it. You buy a house and you think, great, I've got somewhere to live. But what I don't mention to you is that you've also bought yourself a full-time hobby that you never asked for, and that's called things that need fixed. The boiler, the roof, the gutters, something in the kitchen, something in the bathroom that shouldn't make a noise, the garden, the driveway, the fence that your neighbour mentions every single time that you see him. Now, in Scotland, and we've lived in some beautiful parts of Scotland, don't get me wrong, in Scotland, a house is basically a full-time maintenance project. And council tax, standing charges, insurance, TV licence fees, broadband, water rates, electricity, wood for the fire in the winter. I mean, at what point do you just opt out? Well, for us, it's late 2026 apparently. That's when. In a motorhome, your bills become what? Fuel, a campsite pitch, the occasional ferry, and that €2 coffee that you drink while looking at a beautiful mountain or a stunning beach view. That's it. That's the entire financial model of living in a van. I'll tell you what, I'm in. Reason number three, the weather. Do you know what? I'm not even going to dress this up. It's Scotland. I say that as someone who was born here, who grew up here, has lived here all of his life, and genuinely loves this country. But we have, and I want to be absolutely accurate here, 11 good days of weather per year, and 3 of them days are in October, which is confusing for everybody in Scotland. Now, Nina and I have stood in our garden in what was supposed to be June, wearing fleeces, watching the rain come sideways off the hills, and we've asked each other, why the hell do we live here? The answer used to be this, because this is where our life is. But here's the thing, when you put your life in a van, your life goes with you. It goes to Spain, it goes to Portugal, it goes to southern France, it goes to Morocco, it goes to Bosnia, it goes to places where the sun is not a rare and startling event. Now, I'm not saying goodbye to Scotland. I'm saying that I'll maybe see you in September when you're actually beautiful. But even though Nina has a Polish passport, that doesn't give us the right to stay in Europe for 365 days. Because our ability as a nation to be the only country in the world to actually vote to put economic sanctions on themselves with bloody Brexit. Now just a note here, I'm a Scot, I voted to stay. Kenny, keep out of this. Told you to keep out the politics. Keep out the politics. We still have to adhere to Schengen rules, so we will be spending time in the UK and Ireland and other non-Schengen countries to keep us within the rules. We really need to look into Schengen more though, as it's a bloody nightmare to understand. I also need to state that today is actually one of the hottest days ever in Scotland. Right? People are actually melting. So, it's a wee bit of tongue in cheek here about the weather. But reason number 4 is this. We want to actually experience things. Nina and I, we love food. We love wine. We love music. We love discovering places that are off the tourist trail. We like sitting in a little restaurant that seats 20 people and there's no menu in English and just eating whatever they bring you. Now, we've had moments like that. San Sebastian was one place that we visited recently, and if you've not been, you need to immediately go after watching this video. Now, I'll leave that for another day, but those moments have always just been holidays. They've been bookended by the airports and the suitcases and the knowledge that on Sunday you're flying home to the rain and the boiler problems. Now, what if those moments were just every day? What if finding a brilliant little market, or a winemaker who lets you try things in his cellar, or a beach that's completely empty at 7 AM in the morning? What if that was just normal life? Now that's what life is all about. It's not constant excitement, it's not Instagram highlights every day. It's just a richer, slower, more textured and more interesting life every single week and every single day. Number 5, time. Just time. We're both 67. I'm not going to pretend otherwise, although I did consider it for a minute. There's a point in time that you reach where you stop assuming that there's a limitless amount of time to do the things you keep saying that you'll do but never get around to. Eventually, for us, is now. That's it. That's the whole reason. Now, Nina's dad was Polish. Her family came from Eastern Europe. And that's a part of the continent neither of us has really explored properly. Poland, Hungary, Slovakia, Austria, Croatia. We want to go. We want to see it slowly, not on a 2-week holiday package. There's places I want to eat. There's wines that I want to try where they're actually made. There's music that I want to hear live in the places the music actually comes from. There's mountains that I want to wake up next to. Now, time is the most finite thing any of us have, and I've spent enough of it sitting in traffic on that M6 motorway. The reason number 6 is this: simplicity is genuinely underrated. Here's something nobody tells you about getting rid of most of your possessions. It feels incredible. We've been selling things, we've been donating things. Our girls have already got a list of all the things they want from our house, which is fine. We've been throwing things away. We've been burning loads of stuff. And every time something leaves the house or gets burnt, we feel slightly lighter. Like the stuff was weighing us down and we just didn't notice because we had got so used to it being all around us. A motorhome has limited space. For me, that's not a problem. That's a feature. Yeah, you can only have what you need. You can only keep what matters. Everything else is just noise. You know, the thought of having just 4 pairs of trousers, 2 pairs of shorts, a few t-shirts, some underwear, that kind of appeals to me. Reason number 7, this is a biggie for me, it's the photography. Okay, I'll be honest, this one's a bit personal. I'm a photographer. I have been for a very, very long time. Well, actually over 45 years and counting. And for the most of that time, the photography that paid the bills was families, newborns, babies, kids in the studio on location. Now, it's lovely work. It's work that I'm incredibly proud of and I've won hundreds of awards for. But there's another kind of photography, the kind where somewhere extraordinary at 6 in the morning, with that light doing something that you've never quite seen before, and you've got your camera and there's nobody waiting for you and you've got nowhere to be. That photography. I want more of that. I want to experience more of that, and this motorhome adventure I think is going to allow me to do that. Europe, driven slowly, is basically an endless photographic project for me. Markets, faces, food, which actually I genuinely love photographing as much as eating. Landscapes, architecture, and my absolute favourite, street photography, and even more favourite, portraiture. Now, I'm not talking about the studio family type of portraiture, but I'm talking about portraiture that gets inside the sitters. It tells the viewers a story. Portraits with real impact and design. This is the thing that I'm looking forward to most on our journey. Meeting those extraordinary people on our travels and making powerful, meaningful portraits of them. This trip is partly a life change, and it's partly the biggest photographic project I've ever taken on. And this channel is where I'm going to share it. So please subscribe, genuinely, you won't regret it. Reason number 8, the business has changed, and that's okay. Now, for a long time, I couldn't have done this. I had studios to run, I had clients who needed me physically present in their studios. I had a mentoring business where I was sitting across from people in their studios, going through their numbers, their workflows, and their sanity, and I absolutely loved it. I genuinely did. I was travelling 45,000 miles a year and sleeping in my Volkswagen camper van for, I would say on average, 12 nights every single month for 4 years. Now, but over the last couple of years, everything has started to move online. The mentoring became consultancy, delivered on Kajabi, on video calls, on structured courses. And somewhere in there I realised I don't need to be anywhere specific to do this, which means I can be everywhere. Now, that's a brilliant thing to realise at 67. I mean, the business that I built over decades has evolved into something that travels with me now on a laptop. Slowing down, check. Keep working on things that I love, also check. Reason number 9, Nina deserves this. Now, I'm going to be serious for a moment, which I realise is rather unusual for me. But Nina has been alongside me for all of this, for 45 years. Every studio, every business, every mental madcap idea that I've had at 11 o'clock at night that I was absolutely convinced was the greatest thing and a stroke of genius. She's been patient and supportive, and occasionally quite rightly told me that I was completely wrong about something, which I was. Now, this trip, this chapter in our life is as much hers as it is mine, of course. She's the one who can walk into that French market and come out 20 minutes later having made some friends and found us somewhere spectacular for dinner. I know that because that's what she does for me now. She's the navigator. She's the one who will actually talk to people in places where my schoolboy French immediately gives me away as being an absolute fraud. She deserves these long lunches. She deserves the beautiful places. She deserves to sit somewhere warm with a glass of wine and not be thinking about her to-do list. She's the hardest working woman that I've ever met. And this life-changing event is for both of us, but I wanted to say it out loud. Reason number 10, because what's the alternative? Possibly the most important one, really. What's the actual alternative? Keep going as we are? Keep maintaining the house? Keep paying what's left in the mortgage? Keep watching the weather? Keep saying, maybe next year? Maybe when things settle down? Maybe when the timing's better? Maybe when the grandkids are older? Well, here's what I've learned. The timing is never better. Right? Things never fully settle down. There is no perfect moment that arrives and taps you on the shoulder and says, right, Kenny, now's your time, off you go. You have to decide on that. You have to choose the thing. You have to sell the house. You have to buy the van. You have to wave at the neighbours, and you have to drive south until you hit somewhere warm enough to have your breakfast outside. And that's exactly what we're doing. And if you want to come with us, metaphorically of course, because the motorhome isn't that big, subscribe to the channel, because we're going to document the whole thing. We're going to document the good days. We're going to document the tricky days. The days where something on the van stops working and I say things that I probably shouldn't say on camera. The photography, the food, the wine, the park ups, all of it. The real version, the unfiltered truth of being full time on the road. Now all we need to do is sell the house and buy the motorhome, and you'll be on that journey as well if you subscribe to the channel. Reason number 11, a reminder I didn't ask for. Now I said 10 reasons, but there's an 11th, and it's probably the one that made everything else feel more urgent. Now earlier this year I got sciatica. I'm not going to go into every detail, it's not that kind of video, but it was the kind of illness that makes you stop. It certainly scuppered our plans by a good few months. You know how you can know something intellectually? Things like, life is short, make the most of it. We've all said it at some point in our life, and it just sits there as a vague kind of background idea in your brain that you kind of nod at occasionally and then totally ignore while you get on with fixing the gutters and paying the electricity bill. We've all been there. Being incapacitated has a way of moving that idea from the background to the foreground. I sat in my chair for months, and at some point I started to think about all the things that Nina and I kept saying that we would do. Kept thinking about the places that we said we would visit, the slow lunches that we would have, the slow mornings where nowhere to be. And I thought, we're not waiting anymore. We're just not. So, in a strange way, I'm almost grateful for it. It took something I already wanted to do and turned it into, well, somehow I'm in it now. I'm absolutely fine, by the way, before anybody worries. I'm still very sore and I'm using a crutch for support, but it's not stopping me on this journey, even if I'm in a bloody wheelchair and Nina has to do all the driving. Genuinely, but it changed something, and it would have felt dishonest not to have mentioned it. Life is too short for bad weather and a leaking gutter. We're going. So there you go. 10. Well, 11 reasons. A house sale. A van purchase. A life packed into a surprisingly small number of boxes. Kenny and Nina, hopefully heading for Europe. No real fixed return date. Now if you're thinking about doing something similar in your life, or you're just here for the adventure, you are very welcome. We are glad you found us. Please hit subscribe, leave a comment, especially if you've got tips for places that we should visit. I am genuinely all ears, and we will see you on the road. Bye for now.